Hi, it's November 5th, 2021. This is Lazy Man Composting. My goal is to do the minimum amount of work to get the most amount of compost. I have today, as usual, my trusty sidekick, Barkley. Here, up. Okay, you want to say hello to the camera? No, you don't want to say hello? Okay. I haven't touched this pile since the last video, which was probably in the spring. So there's a lot to be done today. I've got kitchen scraps that haven't gone in for about 2 weeks. I have the old stuff here that I have to throw into the pile. I'm going to start this time of year putting a catcher onto my lawnmower and collecting all the leaves and the grass this time of year, which is good stuff. And then I have the plastic bags in here, and this past year or so we decided to go to compostable bags. These are a cornstarch type of bag. Don't know how they're working, but the whole idea is not to have to take things out of the green bags and they will break down. So without further ado, we're going to knock over this composter. Okay, this is probably all processed already. Okay, I'm going to throw it into the pile here, which is where I'm going to start building my new collections of brown material. I consider this stuff all green material. The only rule that I have in composting is I always cap my pile. I don't have any brown material anymore, although I do have a large stack of arbor chips, which are very coarse and won't break down as quickly as the ground up leaves that I use, and that's also mixed in with green from the grass, although when grass dies it turns brown. Don't quite understand that, but you know, it's kind of the rule of thumb there. I don't follow any specific ratio, although I know it's about 3 to 1. I probably are closer to 1 to 1, although I try to get more brown material into my compost than green material. It just happens to be with what I have on hand. Other things that I have learned after doing this at this site for 20 years, and I had started at my previous home, so I've got about, I would say, a good 30 years of composting, is I like leaving my rake, my pitchfork out here underneath the bucket. It doesn't do too badly like this. Yes, I'm kind of lazy. I should schlep it into the house, but it's where it needs to be. And in 30 years, I've only broken one pitchfork so far. Let me just show you what I'm using. I use this not because I did any research into this. It's just what I had in my shed, and it's done fine. The wood, you know, it's showing its age for being out in the weather, and the handle's a little bit loose. I need to put to give that some TLC, and I really should give this wood some linseed oil to help protect it. I've always thought about making some type of sleeve to go over the wood part so it didn't weather as badly, but never got around to it. Eventually it'll cost me a new pitchfork. This is not the pitchfork they use for hay because it's got a wide blade, not a round blade, so it's good for picking up the compost that I'm making here as opposed to straw material. Okay. The other important thing about composting is it's got to be on the ground. It's got to be in contact with earth, because otherwise the worms will not be able to find their way up into this matter, and they are the key to this whole process. You need those worms in there. They're an indication that your compost is being is active. It's a good indication of the healthier compost, and it's an indication the compost is close to its end process. You're going to find that once the compost is cooled down, not initially. I think that's more of a bacterial type of breakdown. Leaving kitchen scraps in plastic bags really is an anaerobic process because it's deprived of air. Some of the stuff can get real funky. but I think I'm using this to my advantage because I think it breaks it down faster into a liquid, which goes into this, and that all then turns aerobic when I put it all into the pile. Okay, so this is where the my kitchen assistant has been dumping the bags. Okay, and this is the pile that I had from last year. It was filled. It's about a quarter of what it was originally. Trying to decide where I'm going to put the things. I could put it right back here in place. That's actually finished compost. That's mostly, it's all broken down. Yeah, got some kitchen eggshells in there. I'll just stomp on them and they will disappear pretty quick. As I said, my goal is to do this with the least amount of work. I'm really proud of this composter. I garbage picked it, so I saved it from the plastic recycler. All it was missing was a door. Don't need to be fancy. The reason why I like to have these things, it helps, it keeps the critters out. Yes, you could put this closer to the house, but you don't want to take any chance of attracting wildlife near the house. And I have plenty of stories that I've told in the past on these videos of the mishaps that I've discovered by doing that. I'm about 100 feet from the house right now, so it's far enough away that I don't think the critters come near the house. I can use an indication of that. I usually get one or two, maybe mice or bigger rodents in the garage during the winter time. Haven't had one last winter. I do set out traps just in case. Combination of green and plastic bags. I've got to pull the plastic bags out because those will not break down. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the green bags, throw it over here, put the fresh green bags over here, and then pile the compost, the processed compost, which is really called humus. I also like to sometimes refer to it as the black gold because that's what we're going for, and that I will top the pile with. I'll bring some wood chips in also and put some of that on just to hope to keep the critters away from it. I hope to keep the dog from sniffing in there. So the most active stuff I'm going to put on the bottom first. Actually, I really should put that starting for the new pile, which makes the most amount of sense. What I'm really trying to see is how quickly the green bags actually break down and they live up to their claim. The regular plastic bags, I'll dump the contents out. Yeah, that stuff's all broken down. That's the green bag. I think that's green. You know, you might be saying, well, why don't I just take the stuff out of the green bag? Well, the whole purpose of buying these compostable bags is for them to break down by themselves. The easiest thing to do would be for somebody to actually walk the compost all the way over here and dump it, but haven't found a willing participant for that. You don't have to wear gloves to do this, but this stuff is, actually I don't smell a thing. Beautiful October day. We had a low of 35 last night. So this is definitely fun to get going with this. These plastic bags I'll leave in the sun for about a year or so. Eventually they will begin to break down, and eventually I'll take them over to the landfill, unfortunately. It takes a long time for plastic to break down. The other reason I'm putting the filled compost bags there is I just don't like bending. If it looks like I'm stabbing up the plastic bags, I am. I'm cheating, trying to break them up a little. Another cheat would be for me to bring out my rototiller and to run through the pile. But inevitably, the plastic bags would get caught in the rototiller, which means I would have to end up having to clean the rototiller. So this is probably, let's see, probably did this back in May. So this is a good 6 months. Now, kitchen scraps, as usual, the rules are no meats, fats, oils, nuts, no bones. But with every rule, there's ways to get around that. If your pile runs hot enough, anything, if you can get your pile up to over 165, it will process all that stuff. Okay, but to do that takes more work than I want to put into my pile. It would mean turning the pile, making sure that it got plenty. Buckley, go away. Turn the pile, monitoring the temperature. I don't add water. I let Mother Nature do that with rain, and we've had plenty of rain here on the East Coast. If you're curious of where this is in New Jersey. So you might be asking yourself, how come the bags are so small? Well, when I bring them out, they're filled. So that's all caused from the stuff breaking down. Yeah, this is all broken down. This is black as you can believe it is. Got that sweet smell to it. This is exactly what I mean by covering my pile. I'm not too worried about critters in this, because this has all been broken down already. It's about 6 months. There really isn't any, there's not much of stuff that's going to attract them. The fresh stuff, that's a different situation. That they will go to very quickly. Well, you might have heard to put sticks or coarse material at the bottom. All that means is that when you go to turn your pile over, you're going to have sticks of coarse material at the bottom of your pile. If you happen to have one of these square ones, they originally were made with plastic fasteners. Because I rocked this off, I've snapped them and went to stainless steel instead. You can see I'm emptying the bags and throwing them in. The whole idea is to see this stuff break down. Here's something else I kind of avoid. I stopped putting in cut flowers because this stuff doesn't break down. You know, in 6 months I'll still find those branches in the compost. Okay, that's my green material. Here's shredded paper. That's my brown. Didn't fully cover the pile here. So if you don't have any other brown material, use what you've got. So technically, people are watching, oh, you turned the pile. Yeah, that's about as much as I'll do. Again, I want the pile to be covered. Keeps the flies away, keeps the odors down. Got to get a bucket for the top of that. Got to remember to put the cover on it before I place it next time. There's locks in this, so your friendly raccoons and other critters can't open it. Those my arbor trips. I'm real tempted to bring it down here and throw it over here, throw it on top of the pile, but that's going to cause more problems than I want because it's not as fine as I want. That stuff won't break down by the spring, so I'm going to have big pieces of chunks of wood in my compost and my finished humus. I don't filter it. It goes right into the garden the way it is. So I'm going to keep that out and use that for my future vineyard and vegetable garden. Here's my trusty companion here. He's been supervising all the time. Right, Bark? Right? You want to say hello? Okay. He's a male of very few words except when he sees something or when he goes on alert. Those chips came from this tree. This tree fell down and, well, it hit the house, and we put that back together again. Okay, still got plenty of more work to do. Anyhow, my next installment on this for this time of year will be picking up leaves, and this pile will probably extend from where my square composter is to the tree, and that will all be filled with leaves in the next month.